This is Carolina AM.
Welcome back to Carolina AM. Jamie is here. We're so excited. We love to see her walk into the studio. She's always going to make us something great for us. She is the owner and top chef at Johnny D's. And you have a new restaurant opening up just down the road in Surfside.
Yep, next month we're opening.
That is so excited.
We're super excited.
I know. So what are you going to make for us today?
Today, this is actually one of my favorite dishes. When I first made it, I was going to make it at a festival that I was doing with the Charleston Food and Wine Festival, but I ended up making something else. But either way, I mean, it's still very delicious. So I'm excited to share it with the viewers today. So it is a mushroom and leek dish featuring chicken and spaghetti squash. So originally, when I was going to make it, I was like showcasing South Carolina ingredients. So I was going to get local chicken, mushrooms, leeks, and create this for the event. So, but it is one of my favorites because I really love a nice Parmesan cream sauce, and it's pretty easy to make. So what I've done so far is last night I roasted spaghetti squash. I cut it in half long ways, put a little oil on it, and put it in the oven preheated 375 with salt and pepper. And it was probably about 45 minutes, and it just gets really like shriveled up and wrinkly on the sides. And then you take it out, and then all you got to do is just let it sit for like 10-15 minutes until you can kind of touch it a little bit, and then scrape it out with a fork. And I usually put it out back on the sheet pan and just put a little bit more salt and pepper, and that's it. And I use it as a base for instead of making pasta.
That is, I mean, it makes a nice presentation. And
oh yeah, and it tastes really yummy, and it has a really good texture to it. So if you're like a texture person, you will really like it.
I want to taste it. I was looking for a fork underneath there.
Here you go.
Oh, thank you, Jamie.
And then, so for the mushrooms and leeks, what I have in the pan here, all I did so far was I blistered my tomatoes, my nice cherry tomatoes. I cut them in half, and I put them in the pan with a little salt and pepper, and cooked them till they just started to brown, and then I moved them. And then I put the mushrooms in, same thing, and you just put a little salt and pepper every time, so you don't want to over-season the dish, but that's it. And then I do I put the garlic and leeks in there, and I'm just gonna let everything cook down.
And when you say cook down, what does that mean actually?
So usually, like when the mushrooms when you put them in, they're big and they're still white in the middle. So you see now they've all kind of shrunk down, and now they're all cooked all the way through. So, and then I put the leeks in there, and it kind of it's cooked down. I don't really mean anything. When you have like a liquid, you cook down the liquid, simmer. But I don't know, that's just
a term.
Yeah, just a term.
And it only takes just a couple of minutes
that's
on
it.
Medium heat.
I mean, I started during a commercial break cooking the tomatoes, and I'm already adding my cream. So it was like 3 minutes altogether.
You do everything fast there. It just magically happens.
So I'm going to add a little cream here. So I just let the leeks cook until they're just kind of soft and kind of lose their shape. And leeks kind of have a similar taste to onions, but they're a little milder and sweeter. And I really like cooking. I think they bring great flavor to any dish. So people use them for like stews and soups and stuff like that. I use them when I make just any kind of stock. I use the leeks too.
And if you don't have leeks, can you use onion?
You can use onion. You can use onion or even shallot if you want. I just leeks. When you get them in the grocery store, they do have a pretty good shelf life, and there's 3 of them. So when I buy a leek, I use them multiple times because they're in my refrigerator.
Can you freeze those? Like your extra, chop them up and freeze them?
I've never tried, so I'm not really sure. So I'm just going to add a little fresh thyme here. I've added heavy cream, and then I turn it down. And whenever I add the heavy cream, I turn it down because I don't want it burning and overboiling or making a mess, and mostly burning.
And you're turning it down to?
I had it on 8. I turned it down to 6. So I had it on 8 to cook the mushrooms and the leeks, and then I turned it down to 6. So once it starts to simmer, I'm going to let it simmer for about 1 minute, which it's pretty much been there, and then I'm going to add Parmesan cheese to it to thicken it up. And sometimes when you make sauce, you can use like a roux with butter and flour, but usually a little bit of cream and the Parmesan cheese, and I just let it simmer down a little bit. It does reduce enough to kind of thicken up.
So you don't have any butter in there?
I didn't put any.
It's just olive oil?
No, I didn't. Sometimes I do, but I didn't for this one. So I like to create dishes that I don't need to take a lot of ingredients out of my refrigerator, because but a little bit more salt and pepper. And then once you feel like the cream is thick enough to you, and you kind of use, whatever you prefer. If you like it a little thicker, put it a little thicker. If you like a little looser, don't cook it as much. I'm going to throw these back in here for a little brightness of flavor and a little color. And then that's it. The chicken I had cooked on the grill, salt and pepper. or and you can maybe put a little oregano, or if you have like a chicken seasoning you really like. But that's it until it's done. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our chicken on our plate here.
Okay. You've already got that pre-cut.
Yep. Yep. And then we're just gonna top this over top, and you can use as much as you want. And this, depending on how much chicken you make, usually a spaghetti squash I can get 3 to 4 portions out of it, and this was a smaller one, so I have enough for 3 portions. So if I had another chicken breast, and this is plenty of sauce to make for 3.
So one squash,
one bigger squash like this one was probably this big. I have enough for probably 1 more portion in here. And then if you get a bigger one, it does at least 4 portions. So if you cook 1 spaghetti squash, you can have it for 2 nights. So it's nice to kind of help with meal prep too. So I do that a lot at home.
Yeah, and I'm thinking this is good for someone on one of those low carb diets. If you want to eliminate the pasta,
Oh, for sure.
You're eating a vegetable.
Yep. So I mean, I do like my spaghetti once in a while, but I don't eat it as much because it does, you know what pasta does. I don't need to tell you. So. Yeah. I mean, and that's it. I mean, you could see I prepared the whole, besides cooking the chicken on the grill, the sauce and everything was prepared just here, me and you talking. So, I mean, that's the whole dish. And you season it before you finish, you taste it, put a little more salt and pepper if you like. You can add oregano, a little bit more fresh herbs. I just added fresh thyme to it.
You just kind of, it seems like you just use what you have. You make it work.
I do. Yeah, I don't like to go grocery shopping a lot, so I try to just do different flavors in the refrigerator and try to figure out, how I can mix up the veggies that I have and do different things. So
I do have one question. I know you kind of just, to taste, salt and pepper and the heavy cream. About how much heavy cream did you pour in there for the 2 servings?
I probably did about 1.5 cups.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not a lot. And if you're like a person that likes a lot of sauce, then add a little bit more heavy cream, but you'll need to add a little bit more Parmesan cheese too. But this is perfect for me. It coats everything. It's going to be in every bite. So I don't like it when it's like all over I don't like a lot of sauce. So I just want, and like the noodles will absorb it too. So it brings great flavor throughout the dish. So it's one of my favorites, and I hope the viewers make it home and enjoy it.
So tell us about your new restaurant opening up in Surfside. What's on your schedule?
Okay, well, we're going to open up the 2nd or 3rd week in January. I don't know exactly what day yet, so just follow our Facebook page for updates, and we'll probably open up a couple days and then make like a major announcement just to work out some kinks. Everyone has kinks when we first open. So I want everyone to just, be patient with us, and we're going to get it just like we got it at the other 2 stores. It takes us just a few days to get it together.
How can they follow you? Your Insta, your Facebook?
Yeah, so you can follow me or my spice business, either Making It Delicious or Chef Jamie Descalis, and I'm on Instagram and Facebook. And then Johnny D's, either the original location in Myrtle Beach, Johnny D's North Myrtle Beach, or Johnny D's Surfside, and that's both Instagram and Facebook.
All right, well, you got it, Jamie. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, we're going to eat. We're going to dig in. Go to break, because coming up later, we're going to stay with the topic of food, and we're going to find out why wine and cheese are good for you. You're watching Carolina AM.